Enter a moment in some workshop and look that corner dark. Do you see that block of iron full of dust? It is not scrap. It is an engine that has 30 years, and if we put a battery and a drum of diesel right now, it would start before that you finished of reading this sentence. Today in day, the brands to us sell engines that look like spaceships, full of plastics recycled and sensors that get scared with a bit of humidity. But there was an epoch, a golden era that already will not return, where the engineers did not have to ask for permission to the accountants to use the best steel of the world. They designed machines so that they were the last purchase of your life. As mechanic, I have seen engines modern to surrender at the 100,000 kilometers, and then I have seen to these titans to reach to the million without that to them has been changed, nor a single screw internal. If you want to know what really separates to a coffee maker disposable from a monument to the immortality, stay with me. We are going to dirty our hands with the 20 engines diesel that laugh of the time and that, in 2026, continue being the only investment secure that you can make. Perkins 4.236. When we speak of engines that industrialize the world, the Perkins 4.236 occupies the throne of honor. This engine of 4 cylinders and 3.9 litres is probably the design more versatile of the history. It you find in tractors Massey Ferguson that carry 40 years ploughing the earth, in boats fishing that never have seen a port dry, and in generators that maintain hospitals turned on. Its secret resides in a simplicity technical that today looks like science fiction. Injection direct mechanical and a distribution by gears that eliminates any possibility of failure catastrophic by breakage of belt. The block of iron cast of this Perkins is so robust that the walls of the cylinders admit multiple rectifications, allowing that a single engine lives 3 or 4 lives complete. The physics of its operation is pure efficiency mechanical of the old school. At the not having turbochargers complex nor electronics of management, the engine operates under a regime of revolutions low, what reduces the fatigue of the materials and the wear by friction in the crankshaft. The mechanics we love because you can disassemble it entire with a set basic of wrenches, and the spares are found in any corner of the planet, from the jungles of the Amazon until the plains of Africa. It is an engine that not complains. If it has diesel, a bit of oil and air, it will start under the sun more scorching or in the cold more intense. Volkswagen 1.9 TDI, rotary pump ASV AGR. Before that, Volkswagen itself, complicated with the injectors pump and the filters of particles, existed the 1.9 TDI of rotary pump Bosch VP37. This engine is the responsible of that all a generation believed that the diesel was the fuel definitive. With a displacement modest, this block was capable of to deliver consumptions of 4 litres each 100 kilometers while it accumulated 700,000 kilometers without to sweat. At difference of its successors, the codes of engine ASV and AGR used a pressure of injection more low and a system of injection indirect or direct mechanical simple that not stressed the components internal of the cylinder head. The genius of the 1.9 TDI lies in its balance thermal. The block is so oversized for the power that it delivers that the tensions internal are minimal. I have seen units in my workshop that, after 500,000 of kilometers, still preserve the marks of honing original in the walls of the cylinders. The only weak point was the belt of distribution, but if you changed it each 90,000 kilometers, the engine was virtually eternal. It is an engine that democratized the reliability. The same served for a taxi that worked 20 hours a day that for a car family that crossed continents. Mercedes-Benz OM603. If the luxury had a sound, it would be the purr soft of a Mercedes OM603 of 6 cylinders in line. This engine was the heart of the legendary Class S and of the robust Class G in the years 80 and 90. Mercedes-Benz it designed with a mission clear: to be the engine more soft and durable of the market premium. With 3 litres of displacement and a block of cast grey that weighs almost as much as a car modern small, the OM603 is a monument to the engineering German. It uses a pump of injection mechanical Bosch in line that is, by itself alone, a work of art. It is lubricated by the same oil of the engine, what means that while the engine has oil, the pump never will fail. The durability of this engine is legendary in the guild of the taxi drivers European of elite. Not is rare to see units that have surpassed the 1,000,000 of kilometers with the cylinder head original. The secret is in its low ratio of compression and in a system of cooling oversized that avoids any type of deformation thermal. At difference of the engines modern that operate at the limit of its capacity, the OM603 works relaxed, like a runner of marathon that never rises its pulsations above of what necessary. Although the version's turbocharged required a bit more of care with the cooling of the oil, the version atmospheric is simply unstoppable. Toyota 1HDFT 4.2 litres. We enter in terrain sacred for the lovers of the off-road. The 1HDFTE is an engine of 6 cylinders in line and 4.2 litres that powered to the Toyota Land Cruiser Series 100. For many experts, this is the best engine diesel never manufactured by Toyota, even above of the legendary 1HZ. Why? Because it combined the force brute with the introduction of 4 valves by cylinder and a management electronic basic that optimized the delivery of torque without to compromise the reliability mechanical. It is an engine that breathes with an ease amazing, what it allows to move a vehicle of 3 tons by the dunes of the desert or by the mud more dense without to overheat never. The construction of the 1HDFTE is massive. The crankshaft is forged and supported in 7 bearings, what eliminates any vibration parasitic and assures an alignment perfect of the pistons during decades. At difference of the engines modern that suffer by the fragility of its injectors piezoelectric, this Toyota uses injectors mechanical of 2 stages that are extremely tolerant to the quality of the fuel, something vital if you are crossing a border remote. The enthusiasts it call the engine of the 500,000 kilometers of break-in, because they consider that before that figure the engine barely is settling itself. It is a block that ignores the laws of the wear. I have seen engines open with 800,000 kilometers where the tolerance is continued inside of the parameters of factory. If you have a Land Cruiser with this engine, you have a check in white of freedom mechanical that no SUV modern of 2026 can even to dream with to equal. The genius of the 1HDFTE resides in its management of the chamber of combustion. At the introducing the 24 valves, Toyota not only looked for power, but a cleanliness of flow that reduced the accumulation of carbon in the seats of the valves, an evil common in the diesel of great displacement. The system of injection uses an electronic pump, Bosch VP44, that, if well it has components electronic, it is cooled by the own flow of fuel of a way so efficient that the stress by heat of the base plate is almost non-existent. Besides, the design of the pistons includes a channel of cooling internal where the oil is injected at pressure to reduce the temperature of the crown of the piston in more than 100 degrees under load maximum. In 2026, the mechanics specialized look for this engine because its architecture allows what we call maintenance preventive eternal. You can change the injectors and adjust the valves in an afternoon, and the engine will respond as if it just came out of the factory of Tahara. The rigidity of the block is such that, even under pressures of turbo increased by enthusiasts, the metal not presents micro cracks by fatigue. Nissan TD42, blacktop. If there is an engine that can look at the eyes to Toyota and not blink, it is the Nissan TD42, affectionately known as the indestructible. This engine of 4.2 litres and 6 cylinders in line is famous by a characteristic technical that it makes almost unique in its class, the distribution by cascade of pinions. Forget yourself of belts that itself break or chains that itself stretch. Here all the movement itself transmits through gears of steel heavy that will last as much as the block itself. It is the engine preferred by the agencies of the UN and the bodies of rescue in the zones more inhospitable of the planet by one reason. Not has points weak electronic. The version blacktop, produced in the years 90, refined the metallurgy of the cylinder head to resist even better the cycle's thermal. It is an engine of injection indirect, what means that the diesel itself burns in a pre-chamber before of to enter to the cylinder. This results in a combustion more soft that protects the pistons and reduces the noise metallic. Although not is the engine more fast of the world, its delivery of torque motor from the 1000 revolutions by minute is constant and powerful. I have seen Nissan patrol with the engine TD42 that have functioned submerged in water, with oil contaminated and under loads impossible, and always have returned to home. It is an engine designed with a philosophy of over-engineering absolute, where each piece is the double of thick of what it should be by calculation. It is pure force brute Japanese that itself refuses to die. To understand why the TD42 is an anvil, there is that to look at its train of gears frontal. While that other manufacturers use chains to save weight, Nissan opted by pinions of cut helical. This decision eliminates the whiplash harmonic that usually wears the camshafts. The version Blacktop improved the passages of cooling between the cylinders 3 and 4 that historically were the more hot in the designs of 6 in line. At the optimizing this flow laminar itself reduced the expansion differential of the cylinder head, eliminating practically the risk of cracks between the valves of exhaust. From the point of view of the lubrication, the TD42 uses a system of flow total with filters of great capacity that allow to trap particles of up to 10 microns without to restrict the pressure. This is vital in environments of desert where the dust fine always finds a way to enter. In my workshop, I have seen these engines to function with a mixture of diesel and oil of transmission in emergencies, and the pump mechanical of injection indirected processes without a single failure of ignition. Volvo D24, 6 cylinders of origin VW. Volvo always has been synonym of security, but in the years 80 also itself became in synonym of longevity diesel thanks to the engine D24. Although this 6 cylinders in line was developed originally by Volkswagen for its vans LT, it was in the sedans of the series 200 and 700 of Volvo where it reached its status of legend. With a displacement of 2.4 litres, this engine is known by its softness of operation and its capacity for to roll during decades. It is an engine of injection indirect with a pump mechanical Bosch VE, a configuration that is the dream of any mechanic by its ease of adjustment. What makes special to the D24 in a Volvo is the symbiosis between the engine and the chassis Swedish. These cars were designed to last 30 years, and the engine knot was the exception. Although it has fame of being an engine that requires a system of cooling impeccable to avoid cracks in the cylinder head, if the owner itself assured of to clean the radiator and to change the coolant each 2 years, the block was capable of to surpass the 700,000 kilometers. I have seen units in Sweden and Canada that have passed all its life under zero and continue starting at the first turn of the key. It is an engine that requires hand of silk in the maintenance but that offers heart of iron in the road. In 2026, the enthusiasts of Volvo value these units diesel by its simplicity and by that sound melodic of 6 cylinders that is a rarity in the world of the engines diesel small. The D24 often is misunderstood by those who not know the dynamics of fluids of the coolant. Its reputation of being delicate with the cylinder head comes from owners that ignored the bleeding of the system of air. However, technically, this engine is a jewel of the efficiency of the years 80. It uses a block of deck closed, what it grants a stability structural superior to that of many engines modern of aluminum. The liners of cylinder are integrated in the casting, what allows a transfer of heat direct towards the liquid coolant without barriers of air. Isuzu 4JB1. If you look for reliability diesel in a dictionary of mechanics, it should appear a photo of the Isuzu 4JB1. This engine of 2.8 litres is the base over which Isuzu built its reputation world as the largest manufacturer of engines diesel. It is a design of 4 cylinders with injection direct mechanical and a cylinder head of iron cast that is practically undeformable. What makes that the 4JB1 be so respected is its efficiency thermal. It takes advantage of each drop of diesel with a simplicity that shames to the engine's modern loaded of sensors. This engine powered to the Isuzu Trooper and to thousands of trucks of delivery in Asia and Latin America. Its design of liners of cylinder chromed in dry, it grants a resistance to the wear internal exceptional. You can mistreat it, overload it and use diesel of low quality and the engine will continue pushing. The mechanics it know as the engine noisy because its rattle is unmistakable. But that noise is the sound of the immortality. There are no belts of distribution here that can ruin to you the day, and the pump of injection is so robust that it can function even with oils vegetable filtered in case of emergency. It is the essence of the engineering Japanese practical, without luxuries, without complications, only a block of iron that will fulfill its mission every day during half-century if is necessary. The key of the immortality of the 4JB1 is the coating of chrome of its liners. Isuzu used a process of deposition electrolytic that creates a surface of a hardness extreme, reducing the coefficient of friction to levels minimal. This means that the rings of the piston practically not wear the cylinder, even after 500,000 kilometers. Besides, the design of the chamber of combustion type Omega in the head of the piston generates a turbulence of air so perfect that the combustion is almost total, reducing the dilution of diesel in the oil. Technically, this engine is a study over the reduction of points of failure. Not has sensors of crankshaft that itself burn, not has complex systems of recirculation of gases of exhaust that plug the intake with sludge. The pump of oil is moved directly by the crankshaft through gears, assuring that the lubrication never fail while the engine be turning. I have had clients that have operated this engine in barges of river during 10,000 hours without to stop it more than for changes of oil fast. Ford/Mazda 2.5 DE will. In the years 90, Ford and Mazda collaborated in one of the pickups more tough of the history, the Ranger and the Series B. The heart of these machines was the engine 2.5 litres code WL. Already it were in its version atmospheric or turbocharged. This engine demonstrated that not itself needs a displacement massive to have a durability extreme. It is an engine with cylinder head of 12 valves and a system of injection mechanical that is famous by its capacity for to start in any condition. The design of the block is of walls thick, what allows a dissipation of heat excellent even when itself to it requires the maximum loading materials of construction or towing. The WL is an engine that forgives the neglect. I have seen units that have worked in farms during years with changes of oil very distanced and filters saturated, and even so, they preserved a compression perfect. The key of its longevity is its low speed linear of the piston, what reduces drastically the wear of the segments and the walls of the cylinder. In 2026, many of these trucks continue rolling in zones rural, being the only vehicle that not itself has surrendered before the step of the time. It is an engine that not looks for to be the more powerful nor the more silent. It looks for to be the one that always is ready for to work. It is the definition of workhorse, an engine that itself has earned its place in this count at base of sweat and kilometers real. The engine WL stands out by its cylinder head of flow cross and 12 valves, a configuration unusual for a diesel of its epoch that it allows to breathe much better in high revolutions without to sacrifice the torque in low. But the true secret of its durability is the robustness of its train alternative. The connecting rods of this engine are more thick than those of many engines of 3 litres of the competition, what it allows to support the pressures of combustion of the turbocharger without to suffer deformations by fatigue. Mitsubishi Ford 56, 8 valves version. The engine 4D56 of Mitsubishi is one of the engines diesel more manufactured of the history. During more than 3 decades, it powered to the Montero, the L200 and the Delica. Although the versions modern of 16 valves with common rail are more powerful, the version classic of 8 valves with injection mechanical is the one that itself carries the honours by its durability. It is a simple design of 2.5 litres with a block of iron cast and a cylinder head of aluminum that, if itself maintains well cooled, is capable of to ignore the step of the time. The secret of the 4D56 is its ease of repair. All in this engine is accessible. If an injector fails, you it clean. If the pump mechanical needs adjustment, itself makes in the site. It is an engine that has moved to families entire by terrains impossible, and that has demonstrated a resistance to the dust and to the humidity incredible. The only maintenance critical is the belt of distribution and the shafts of balancing, but once that a mechanic experienced adjusts this engine, it functions with the precision of a clock. In 2026, the 4D56 continues being the engine of election in many countries in development, because any workshop of village has the pieces and the knowledge to maintain it alive. It is a survivor born that has surpassed fashions and regulations thanks to its base mechanical solid. The physics of the 4D56 itself bases in the balance of masses. Despite of being an engine of 4 cylinders relatively large for its epoch, Mitsubishi included 2 shafts of balancing counter-rotating moved by a small belt secondary. These shafts cancel the vibrations of second order, protecting not only the comfort of the passengers, but also the supports of the engine and the housing of the transmission from cracks by fatigue vibratory. The block of iron cast has a design of walls deep that hugs the crankshaft, granting a rigidity that prevents the buckling of the block under loads heavy. In the market of spares of 2026, this engine is the king because its interchangeability of pieces is total. Yanmar Series L. To close this first part of the count, we must render homage to a giant in body small, the Yanmar Series L. This not is an engine of car, it is an engine diesel single-cylinder cooled by air that moves the world from the shadows. You it find in pumps of water that save harvests, in generators electric of boats and in machinery of construction that works in the conditions more extreme imaginable. Why is it in this list? Because the durability itself measures by the capacity of to function where others die, and the Yanmar Series L is the king of the resistance. At the being cooled by air, it eliminates of a stroke the radiator, the hoses and the pump of water that are the causes principal of failure in the engine's diesel. Its injection direct is so efficient that it can function hours with a single litre of fuel. The block is designed to be abused. It can work at the 100% of its load during days in a row without to flinch. Peugeot XUD9, 1.9 litres. The Peugeot XUD9 is, without doubt any, the engine that put to France in the map of the reliability world. During the years 80 and 90, this block of 1.9 litres was the column vertebral of vehicles iconic like the Peugeot 405 and the Citroën BX. But its fame not comes from the speed, but from an architecture technical that looks like to ignore the laws of the wear. It is an engine of injection indirect with a pump mechanical Bosch or Lucas that is so simple that you could adjust it with the eyes closed. The block is manufactured in iron cast with liners wet, what facilitates enormously its repair, although rarely it needs. The physics of this engine is its greatest virtue. At the being an engine of aspiration natural, or turbo soft in versions later, the pressures internal are ridiculously low compared with the standards modern. This means that the gaskets of cylinder head and the bearings of the crankshaft live in an environment of comfort thermal constant. I have seen units in my workshop that served like taxis in the north of Africa with 800,000 kilometers, functioning with a diesel that looked like more oil crude than fuel, and the XUD9 continued hammering without a single complaint. Its capacity to digest fuels of low quality and its resistance to the overheatings occasional it convert in a survivor born. In 2026, these engines continue being the standard of gold for those who look for economy real. An engine that to you gives 500,000 kilometers only with changes of oil and filters, reminding us that the simplicity French was, in its moment, unbeatable. M57, 3.0 litres. Many purists say that the electronics killed the durability, but the BMW M57 is the engine that came to shut those mouths. This 6 cylinders in line of 3 litres is, probably the best engine diesel modern ever designed. BMW achieved the impossible, to combine a system of injection common rail of high pressure with an architecture of blocks so robust that it can support powers of races without to flinch. The block of iron cast, in the first versions, and of aluminum with liners of iron in the later ones, is a workmaster of the rigidity torsional. The secret of the M57 is its balance dynamic. A 6 cylinders in line is naturally balanced, what eliminates the vibrations that usually fatigue the supports and the components internal in other engines. Besides, BMW used a chain of distribution oversized that, at difference of its successors, not used to give problems if the oil itself maintained clean. I have seen BMW Series 5 with this engine accumulating 700,000 kilometers with a softness that already would want the engines of gasoline current. Scania DS11. To understand what is the true durability, there is that to look towards the giants of the road. The Scania DS11 is the engine that defined to the king of the road during decades. This block of 11 litres is a cathedral of iron Swedish. At difference of the engines of automobiles, the DS11 was designed under the concept of reconstruction infinite. This means that each component, from the liners of the cylinders until the seats of the valves, is replaceable. Not you throw the engine when itself wears. You it restore to its specifications original one and again. The engineering behind of Scania is massive. They use cylinder heads individual for each cylinder, what avoids the deformations thermal that suffer the cylinder heads long and allows repairs isolated without to dismantle all the block. It is common to find trucks Scania with the engine DS11 that have surpassed the 2 million of kilometers in conditions of load maximum. Toyota 1KZT, 3.0 litres. Before that arrived the common rail to the Hilux, the King Absolute was the 1KZT. This engine of 3 litres and 4 cylinders is the bridge between the mechanics purely rustic and the performance modern. Its characteristic more distinctive is a cylinder head of iron, in its versions more robust, and a pump of injection mechanical that is almost allergic to the failures. Toyota designed this engine to be the heart of the Hilux and the Prado in markets where not there are workshops sophisticated, and the result was a machine of war civil. The durability of the 1KZT resides in its capacity to absorb the mistreatment thermal. While that the engines modern itself block at the first symptom of heat. This Toyota has some tolerances so generous that it can continue functioning in conditions that would melt to other blocks. Its torque in low revolutions is legendary. Not you need to accelerate much to exit of a quagmire, what reduces the wear of the rings and the valves. In 2026, to find a Hilux with the engine 1KZT is like to find a treasure buried. The mechanics then we love because the access to the components is total, and because we know that if the owner not forgets to put it water and oil, that engine will reach to the million of kilometers with only a pair of changes of injectors. It is the essence of the Toyota that conquered the world. Simple, heavy and unstoppable. Mercedes-Benz OM 617, 3.0 litres. No list of engines diesel is complete without the OM 617. This 5 cylinders of 3 litres is probably the engine of passengers more durable never built. It is the engine that made famous to the Mercedes 300D W123, the car that still today dominates the streets of Morocco and other countries with conditions extreme. Why is it so durable? Because it is manufactured with a philosophy of zero saving in materials. The block and the cylinder head are of iron cast heavy, and the crankshaft is a piece of forge that looks like taken out of a boat. The OM 617 uses a pump of injection Bosch M that is lubricated by the oil of the engine, eliminating the failure more common of the pump's diesel. Not has belts of distribution. It uses a chain double massive that rarely needs replacement. I have seen testimonies of cars with this engine that have reached the 1.5 million of kilometers without having been opened, never. Its sound of sewing machine is the sound of the reliability absolute. Caterpillar 3116. Caterpillar is a name that evokes movement of earths and mining, and the engine 3116 is its ambassador in the world of the transport medium and marine. This engine of 6 cylinders and 6.6 litres is a beast of load that not knows the tiredness. It was designed for applications where the engine must function at the 80% of its capacity during 10 hours a day, day after day. Its system of injection mechanical by units injector is a jewel of the precision that not depends of a computer central complex to function. The construction of the 3116 is pure robustness industrial. The pistons are articulated, what allows a better expansion thermal and reduces the risk of scoring of the liners. This engine moved trucks of firemen, vessels military of the Navy of the United States, and trucks of delivery heavy by all the world. Its fame of indestructible comes from its capacity for to work in environments loaded of dust and humidity without that its performance decay. Navistar T444E, Ford 7.3 Power Stroke. If you ask in Texas or in any zone rural of North America which is the best engine that Ford put in a truck, the answer will be unanimous. The 7.3 Power Stroke. Manufactured by Navistar, the T444E is a V8 diesel massive that defined an era. At difference of the engines diesel modern of Ford that are a nightmare of sensors, the 7.3 is a block of iron cast with a system of injection HUEI, electronic injection activated hydraulically by oil. This system is the secret of its longevity. At the using the pressure of the oil of the engine to fire the injectors, the engine is extremely robust front to failures electrical minor. It is an engine that sounds like a truck of war and pulls like a train. Not is rare to find Ford F250 of the years 90 with 500,000 or 600,000 kilometers that still itself used to tow cattle every day. The block is so thick that it can absorb the heat of trailers massive without that the cylinder heads suffer. Detroit Diesel Series 60. The Detroit Diesel Series 60 changed the history of the transport heavy when itself it introduced in 1987. It was the first engine of truck of great scale in to use a system of control electronic total, DDEC, but it made without to lose the robustness mechanical that characterizes to the brand. This engine of 12.7 litres and then 14 litres is the king of the fleets of long distance in United States. Its design of camshaft to the head simplified the mechanics and increased the efficiency of way revolutionary. The Series 60 is famous by to reach the 1 million of miles, 1,600,000 kilometers, before of its first overhaul. The engineering behind Detroit Diesel itself centered in the durability of the components critical, crankshafts hardened by induction and a system of cooling of flow optimized that eliminates the points hot in the cylinder head. Besides, it is an engine extremely efficient in the consumption of fuel for its size. In the market of second-hand of 2026, the trucks equipped with a Series 60 continue having a value very high because the owners of fleets know that it is an engine predictable, cheap to maintain, and with availability of spares infinite. It is the engine that moved the economy American during 3 decades and that itself refuses to retire. The Detroit Diesel Series 60 was the pioneer to demonstrate that the electronics could be the best friend of the longevity through the monitoring predictive. The system DDEC not only managed the injection, but it protected to the engine, reducing automatically the power if it detected a drop in the pressure of oil or an increase in the temperature of the coolant. This logic of protection is the reason that these engines surpass the 1,000,000 of miles without deformations in the cylinder head. Technically, its camshaft to the head eliminates the push rods, reducing the mass of the train of valves and allowing a control of injection much more precise, what reduces the knocking of the diesel that fatigues the pistons. Toyota 2L, 2.4 liters. This is the engine that gave to the Toyota Hilux the title of indestructible. The 2L is an engine of 4 cylinders and 2.4 liters of injection indirect that is the definition of simplicity mechanical. There is no turbo in the version base. There is no electronics. There are no sensors of position of nothing. Only there is iron, diesel, and a will of iron to continue functioning. It is the engine that Top Gear tried to destroy, putting the truck in the roof of a building that was demolished, leaving it in the sea and setting to it fire. And after each test, the 2L started with only tools basic. The physics of the 2L is its salvation. At the not having turbo, the temperatures of combustion are low and there is no stress of supercharging over the pistons. The crankshaft is designed to last 3 times the life useful of the vehicle. Its pump of injection mechanical is so rustic that it can function with diesel of the worst quality imaginable without to get stuck. I have seen engines 2L in jungles tropical that have functioned during years with filters of oil that never itself changed, and the engine simply itself refuses to die. It is a legend of the engineering that demonstrates that when you eliminate all the unnecessary, what remains is a reliability absolute. In 2026, the 2L continues being the engine of reference for anyone that needs to cross a continent where not there are roads nor workshops. The physics of the Toyota 2L itself resumes in one word: tightness. This engine was designed with a focus obsessive to prevent the contamination external. The seals of oil and the gaskets of the cover of valves are designed with lips double to assure that nor the dust fine of the desert, nor the water of a crossing of river penetrate in the system of lubrication. At the being an engine of injection indirect with a pump mechanical Bosch VE, the process of combustion occurs of way more slow inside of a pre-chamber of combustion of steel stainless integrated in the cylinder head. This reduces the shock hydraulic over the head of the piston, allowing that the components internal suffer much less stress mechanical than in an engine of injection direct. Cummins 6BT 5.9 liters. And we arrive to the place number 1. The Cummins 6BT of 12 valves is, by consensus universal between mechanics and experts in diesel, the best engine diesel of the history. Why? Because it is the balance perfect between power, simplicity, and a metallurgy that borders in the eternal. This engine of 6 cylinders in line and 5.9 liters uses the mythical pump of injection Bosch P7100, a pump mechanical in line that is practically indestructible and that allows to the engine to function without electricity once that it has started. The block of the 6BT is of iron cast with a bearing structure so solid that itself uses frequently in applications marine and of machinery heavy. Not as belts nor chains, it uses a cascade of pinions of steel for the distribution. The pistons are massive and the engine is designed to work with an excess of air, what maintains the temperatures internal low. It is the engine favorite of the tuners because you can double its power without to open the block, and even so, it to you will give 1,000,000 of kilometers of service. It is an engine that not has sensors that fail, not has cables that itself sulfate, and not has mercy with the work hard. If the world itself ended tomorrow, the only thing that would continue functioning would be a Cummins 6BT. It is the holy grail of the mechanics diesel, a piece of engineering that to us reminds that there was a time in that the machines itself made to not break never. Each component of this engine is between a 30 and a 50% more large of what requires its power nominal. The bolts of the cylinder head, for example, have a diameter and a depth of thread that itself find normally in engines of 10 liters. This reserve of resistance mechanical means that the block of iron cast never experiences tensions near to its limit elastic, what eliminates virtually the possibility of cracks structural. The pump. P7100 is the heart of this legend. It is a pump of plungers in line actuated by cams that delivers fuel with a precision mechanical absolute, without necessity of a single bit of computation. The kinematics of the 6BT is perfect for the longevity. An engine of 6 cylinders in line has a balanced primary and secondary inherent, what means that not needs shafts balancers that steal power or add points of failure. The connecting rods are of steel forged and the bearings have a surface of contact so wide that the pressure by centimetre square is ridiculously low. In 2026, this engine is the holy grail not only by its durability but by its independence technological. It is an engine that can function without battery and without alternator once that it has started. Only needs air and fuel. It is the maximum expression of the engineering human applied to the reliability. A block of iron that not asks nothing and it gives everything, capable of to cross the threshold of the million of kilometers as if it were a simple walk of Sunday. It is, without any doubt, the engine diesel more durable that ever has stepped the earth.